My secret sauce to experimentation, after working in experimentation for years, is working together with other people. And working together with other people, one shape that you can do that is, of course, organizing a brainstorm, bringing people together. But sometimes what people are scared of is that having a lot of ideas, so having quantity of ideas, leads to a worse quality. So you either have quality or you have quantity, but you cannot have both. But actually, if you would be brave enough to collect a lot of ideas, you will see that if you collect a lot of ideas, you'll have small ideas, big ideas, data driven ideas from insights, some leaps of faith, some from one data source, some from multiple data sources. So not necessarily quantity needs to hurt quality. It's more about how do you filter the dirt from the gold. But the first step is really collecting ideas, and later on you can use processes like prioritization or hypothesis creation or bandwidth calculations to filter out the ideas to start and to actually run as an experiment. Also here you see some research that more ideas lead to more quality of ideas, which is super interesting. Here you see how Bing did 20% more tests. So, in fact, increasing the quantity led to a 17% improvement in conversion. So those are just some insights. And if we think about how can we come up with ideas, and maybe I should have a slide for this, but our thoughts are 98% the same as yesterday. So it's really hard for us to come up with ideas, but you can kind of skill yourself by adding more people to your ideation process. And this is research about the brick test. And the brick test is basically how many utilities or how can you use a brick. And they asked different types of group, and more diverse groups came up with more unique and innovative uses. And the same with this research, who followed 1,800 professionals in companies over 8 years. The diverse teams had 45% growth in market share. So working together with a lot of different people can lead to growth, and in my experience also lead to a lot of finding a lot of opportunities for growth, because everyone is different, has a different perspective. What people tend to believe is that, so on the left you have interns, you have development developers, and you have creative people. We usually think, oh, I need to put all the creative people in the room and then everything is solved. So in the first example, we have one intern who is the red, and the intern has one idea. And then you have two creative people here. Maybe they are UX designers. Maybe they are weird creative people like me. And they both come up with 4 ideas. But in the end, the creativity of a group is not only the number of ideas they come with, but also their overlap. So in this case, you see the 4 ideas, but they both have 4 of the same ideas. And that's because they went to the same university. They grew up in the same city. They have the same skin color. And those things can make sure, or can lead to people tapping into the same associative networks. And what you actually might want is, instead of adding all the creative people together who are kind of the same, maybe they have the same job, is maybe add some weirdos to the mix, like add a developer in there. And the developer has also one idea that the creative person has, but also has one unique idea from his perspective or her perspective. So you see, in the end, these 2 groups come up with the same number of ideas. And then something good to know as well is that if you ask people to come up with ideas, it's not always guaranteed that you get more ideas if you put very different people together. Kind of having a safe environment, having great teamwork is very important. So this year I facilitated some workshops for a financial institution, and the managers there were always very, very critical, very judgmental. Even to me, they were judging and questioning everything. So that made it feel very unsafe to speak out, come up with ideas. Of course, I was just external, so it's fine for me. But what happened with the team was that even if you put very diverse people together, they all come up with the same ideas, because they kind of know, like, hey, these are the ideas that are living and are conscious within our organization, and they are scared to speak out. They are scared to be different. So that's something that can definitely happen. But what we're looking for is in a group, when we ideate with groups, usually what we agree on in a brainstorm is this: is we kind of leave the room with the ideas that we all share. So, for example, if this is the developer, this is me, and this is the intern, for example. Then we agree on these ideas. We come out of the meeting, we feel good, we think like, oh, we found the best ideas. But what we're not leveraging is maybe the developer's unique idea to load the app in a different way, for example, or the intern's unique idea to use an UX pattern from TikTok, because that's just a different generation than me, for example. And they have their own unique ideas. So we kind of tend to leave all these unique ideas from people, from their unique backgrounds and perspectives. We tend to leave those on the table. And that's too bad. So I always try to achieve something called voice of organization bonus, which is basically leveraging the diversity and the uniqueness and the unique knowledge that people have for experimentation. Here's some more research about why brainstorms in groups are a bad idea. And it's basically because, we have to share the room, and we tend to come out of those meetings with ideas that overlap and not necessarily the most unique ideas. So what I want to show you is a brainstorm format that I always use for my clients at increaseconversionrate.com. What we do is that we give space to do individual brainstorming creative work and later scale up the group. And this is not necessarily something that I came up with. This is something that is also very much shaped by liberating structures. Those are kind of exercises. But I think that the knowledge about this has been around for a while. But liberating structures are like exercises that you can use for a group. They're mainly known by people in Scrum and Agile, but that's okay. And this particular shape can be called 1, 2, 4. So if this tells you anything, or if you want to know more, you can Google all this. But what I did is I made a brainstorm for you that you can immediately use in Miro. Here you see I have 2, and this is the 1, 2, 4 all one. And if you copy that to your own Miro board, you'll see here that you can divide the group, your team, into groups. It's also very nice to work, of course, with different teams and to mix the people up. Think about the diversity, so not all the people from the same team or the same type of people in the same group, but really try to mix them. And then the first exercise is really 10 minutes. So imagine we're focusing on increasing the ease, and UX of our website, our web shop, whatever it is. And then maybe first of all, you want to start, and this is the trick, right? You start individual, and it should be a safe environment. Everyone should be free and feel free to come up with ideas. And then you can ask both groups, or you can add multiple groups in here. You can extend this. You ask them to come up with ideas, or you can also start with asking them to come up with inspiration from other websites. Sometimes that's a very good warm-up exercise. But let's say here we jump right in and we say, okay, what can make our website better? And then everyone starts to come up with screenshots and they tell why. And this is very individual work, right? So if you do this remotely, everyone's quiet, on mute, and they just go do their thing. If you are somewhere on a live location and you actually sharing the room, you can also ask people to go sit somewhere with their group, but first do the individual work. And then after 10 minutes, what you do is kind of, you present your best idea to someone else in the group. And what that does is it immediately, the partner that you're talking to might immediately give feedback or might come up with an iteration for your idea, which can be great. And then you can also add those ideas, of course. Then the next thing is voting for the best idea. How do you find the best ideas from there? So what you do is, from all those individual ideas, and you've spoken about it as well, you start voting, and you can do that with emojis. Like you can just copy, for example, this, and then you say like, hey, I vote for this idea, bam. And everyone has 3 votes. Make sure that people do not vote for their own idea because of the IKEA effect, right? If you do something yourself, if you create something yourself, if something is yours, you add more value to it. So otherwise people will just choose their own ideas. And then kind of you have the best ideas, and you have those filtered out with, well, just counting the most votes. But here you can have a space, so that's number 4, a space for discussion. So you can discuss with the group, like, what are really the best 3 ideas that we later on gonna present to the other group. And there can be some discussion in here. Maybe people do change whatever is voted on. That's no problem. Maybe people already start iterating as well. Nothing is wrong. Just give them 10 minutes and make sure that they have, after those 10 minutes, some ideas to present to the other group. And after this exercise, you have a lot of individual ideas. Then you immediately see what the group voted for. And of course, the best 3. And logically, people tend to want to start with the best 3. But don't forget to use and also file or document somewhere all those individual ideas. I usually do that in Airtable. And I just make a small entry about the ideas, and then I prioritize those ideas as well, and that already filters out kind of the gold from the dirt, because you will collect a lot. So this is the format of the brainstorm. It works super good. You can do it with your own team. You can do it with multiple teams. It brings people together, but it also helps them think individually, and that's what we want, right? So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. You can contact me on LinkedIn or on increaseconversionrate.com. No worries. Have fun. I hope this template helps you, and yeah, good luck. Bye.